So when you get to this, you think, wow, how am I going to get all that through the tiny little hole at the back? There's a tiny little hole back there to get everything through. This stuff definitely won't go through. You don't need to, it's all plugged on connectors here, so you would be disconnecting the front. Just make sure they attach to the same color wires. So that's blue to blue, so that's fine. So we'll pop that out. That's green to green, so that's fine. Just make sure it all corresponds to its own colors, and then gently pull it out through the hole at the back. We've got this light up here. It should have a little bolt or something under there. We'll look at that in a minute. Oh, it's just literally a push-on bulb. Okay, and then we've got similar over here, which is the switch to it all. I'm not sure what holds that on, but I'll look into that in a minute. My guess is you pop this off somehow and then use the my guess is it's kind of bolted on. So I'll have a look at that in a minute, and we'll put all the wiring through. One thing I have to say about a Honda of this age, so this Honda is 46, is that everything 46 years later turns, spins, undoes, doesn't break, doesn't snap. It shows you that Honda were really trying to make a market in the world in the 70s, because it's unbelievable. Even this, you know, if you saw that kind of rusty nut on anything else, especially Chinese, it's over, it's broke, it's lost its threads. This thing's rock solid, mate. It's rock solid. It's still working, it's still doing its job. It's still a working switch. Here's the headlight. Now I'm in two minds. I was thinking, basically, it's a bit unfair for that to have to do it all, and it's quite intricate in areas and stuff, and actually it doesn't have to be gloss shiny black really. It could be a nice satin or matte. I think I'll just scuff that and do that one, and I'll just get the tank and the side panels to that, so that he's not got too much. I mean, that's enough already for him to do. So yeah, I'm going to clean this up, sand it, scuff it, and paint it inside and out using a nice paint. And what I might do is get some matte lacquer for the top to make it all a bit tougher. I need some for the top of the stem anyway. I'm going to pop this off at some point. That's going to have a spray, and the matte lacquer will be handy for there. New handlebars. I want this kind of design. I want it to be as similar to this as possible. When they turn up, they'll just look new. So eventually, I'm going to have some sort of paint job on there and there. Side panels look nice. They came out absolutely fine. They've been sitting for 2 weeks now, or a week, and they just do the job. There's no issues there at all. They've got a nice kind of shine to them, nothing major. They'll be protected. I'll use the same satin on the forks that I will on that top cover. And then again, I go back to saying next year I might strip this bike down completely in the summer, maybe. Get it fully stripped down, get the frame powder coated, get the engine cleaned, degreased, maybe painted, and stuff like that. Maybe, I'll see how I feel. Alright guys, I've just put some rust treatment on it. It's this stuff. I have to admit, this is not my favourite stuff. The old rust remedy was much better. I feel like this stuff doesn't really, it kind of doesn't really work for me. So work the gel into the surface, leave for 15 to 20 minutes, repeat the process applying additional gel as necessary at 30-minute intervals for a period of 2 to 3 hours, or until the rust is removed. Yeah, I've used this stuff before, and actually in the past I didn't see it kind of do what it was meant to do. So we'll keep an eye on it. We can see there's little rust patches there. And actually I've changed my mind. I think I think actually, if Nat's setting up the gun anyway to do all the paint stuff, then he may as well throw this in as well. At first I thought I don't want to give him the extra work, and then I'm thinking, well, he's doing it all anyway. Hopefully, I don't think he'll mind. That's what we discussed last week. Look at the bike. It looks a bit sad. It looks a bit sorry like this. It's quite a picture. I'll take a picture of that. It's such a simple bike in some ways, guys. There's something about it, you know. It's straightforward, really. What I should do is chuck on the starting motor and a couple of bits and pieces while I'm waiting. That wouldn't necessarily hurt, would it? Alright guys, so there's the parts that we're sending to Nat and the tank. I'm not messing with the tank. It's got no fuel in there at all. Nat knows the scuffing process much better than I do. I'd probably make it worse. So I'm not touching it. I'll leave that to Nat. Just to show you how the side casings have come out, I've put this side on. I think it looks great. I think it kind of lets down the rest of the engine. Really, I should be using that colour on the whole engine. When I pop the engine next year, I'm going to have to do that. I have to use that colour on the whole engine. But it looks really neat, actually, the side casings. And they're quite tufty, actually, because I was quite rough with them out of curiosity, putting them on. And yeah, they've got a nice bit of protection on there. So that's quite cool. I'm not going to put the other side on now because I have to drop the footrest and the rear brake and stuff to be able to put that back on. And I want to kind of take my time with it. But next weekend I'll have... Oh yes, and look, the starting motor's back on, and I think it makes it look so much better. If I've got a before picture from this angle, I'll show you that now, if I've got one. If not, you'll have to go back to a video and see it. But it just all stuck out and looked a bit rough, you know. And with a nice bit of paint, engine colour, I think it's made a big difference. This side will as well. What people have been saying, John and people, is that the more we do with the paint and everything, the more other bits are going to stick out, the frame and stuff. And actually, you know, he's absolutely right there. Look, it's, you know, ideally this whole frame would need doing at some point, and I think I'll do that next year. I think it's not a huge issue. Take the engine out and do that. The other thing you can do is kind of tape and mask off areas and do some of it on here. A nice satin black would work really well, but that is a lot of work for, you know, for what you're doing. If I could get to this, I'd like to take this off and paint it. The case for the this would have been a toolkit. This would have held a toolkit. I can see bolts down there, and I can kind of get through the frame here, but I can't see what's holding it on. So I'd like to have a look at that and see if I can get that off. If I can, I'll get that off and give that a paint, because that'd be pretty cool. That, to be fair, could go any colour in, or could even do similar brown or a red as kind of homage to the original, this kind of orange. But I guess black is black. I was just saying to Danny had this bike from brand new from the showroom, which will be what, 13 years now, and it was a limited edition one at all. I was just saying to him he's due a new set of fairings, and he goes, no, it looks good from a distance. And then I'm like, no, it doesn't. And he goes, well, you're at the wrong angle. I've checked every angle. But if you know this bike inside out, and you know you got it new, basically Danny stopped messing around. You don't need all this wheelie bar and all of these side casings anymore. We've matured, Danny.
No, one day.
Danny says every time, you never catch my bike on the channel, and it's true. I don't know why. Me and Danny have done a lot of projects actually over the years, like a long time. If I can find one, I'll throw a picture up now of the Bandit. Danny did the majority, but that was a cool project until we sold it. Yeah. And then the guy comes back to us and goes, he said to Danny, My mechanic saw your welding. It's the worst welding he's ever seen. But that was a stunning bike. We've done a lot of mechanical city stuff, haven't we? Cars, bikes,
playing around with it.
over the years. Daddy's just changing his rear pads on this, so no big issue. They are quite low, yeah. Very low actually. And slightly loose headstock, but I don't even feel it. Last time you said it to me, I couldn't even feel it.
That's what the mechanic said for the MOT. So just do it. So I thought I
Just
would.
nip it up. You should use my MOT guy. We won't notice.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You didn't say anything else.
They don't. That my guy's great. He just says, like today I forgot to bring the full size number plate, and he says, Charlie, it's fine. Just get it done. So he'll say your indicator's out. I'll pass it, but get it done. And he knows I will. That's why. Nothing on that. Nothing on that today. That's away for a few weeks, so I'm going to leave all the panels and stuff here. We're not going to see much progression on that. And I'm going to be going back to the Triumph today. I need to reset the Payson ignition system because some idiot pulled it out. And me and John and Danny have been chatting all in different times. John's saying just pop off the right carb, give it a good clean, pop it back on. I'm saying no. Let's switch the left and right. It's so easy to do, and let's see if the problem goes with it. If the left pipe heats up slower than the right, we've blatantly found the issue. And if that's the case, we can look at getting a set of the Wassails, they're called. They're called Wassails 930s. They're basically a copy of these MLs, but they're brand new. They have great reviews online. Or we can try and clean these out. So, you're going to see Danny in the background doing his pads, and you'll see the Triumph back out, me setting up the Payson unit.